this is BernieDawg, and I've been really sick for the last couple weeks, so sorry I haven't had anything up sooner. I just had a cold, but this cold is just nailing me. I guess that's what happens when you get old. I'm almost 64 now, oh my god, and this cold just laid me up forever, so this is like my first day out in the shop. And I wanted to touch on a subject here that I just want to throw at you. What we got here is a Primus 100 stove. This is a 1920. It's marked J on the bottom of the tank. It's got the tank mount vent screw. It's got the small filler cap. Made in Stockholm. It's BA Horth. And as you can see, this is a lipstick burner. The fuel is the kerosene only now, kerosene only, don't use white gas in this. The kerosene is propelled into this tube here, and the preheat pan heats that tube and the burner. The burner gets hot, as you can see, it's kind of running a little red right now, and the heat is conducted down into that tube, and that's where the vaporization goes on. It uses a flame plate originally, okay? And here it is, it's running pretty nice. Yeah. So what I want to talk about is alternatives. Unfortunately, hang on. As you might imagine, what happens all too often with these is that the flame plate goes missing, and those can be hard to find. They are still out there, you can look around. There's some guys out there making reproductions for these flame plates, and that's definitely one way to go. Okay, so here's another option for you. This is the original flame plate that came with this particular stove. And if you need a flame plate, and those aftermarket flame plates now, I just checked recently, they seem to have dried up. You can get my 3D printed version. This is what it looks like. It has the same logo on the front, so you can, or on the top, so you can, duplicate the Primus logo there. Hopefully that's working out for you. Or, you can show the dog print that's, I snuck onto the back, that's set into it. All right, and when you get them, they look like this. They're expensive because it's a whole heck of a lot of metal, and that's the way the 3D printers work, is they charge you by the volume of metal that is in an object. So there's a lot of volume here. These are kind of heavy. And anyway, this is how I'll show you how they work. Okay, so this is just fired up with the BernieDawg replacement plate, the replica plate. Here's the original plate again. And it's working just fine. These will get red after time sometimes, or slightly red. But that makes a good option for you if you really want the flame plate and you can't find a replacement and you don't want to make one of your own. The 3D printing process means that you get kind of, because it's built up in layers, you get a little bit of indication of the layering here. But you can sand that out. I mean, these are fairly easy to work with this kind of paper here. And you can sand the little things out if you really want to make it look more original. Once it burns, it looks pretty original, so it's not a bad option for you. But as you can tell, this stove is not exactly quiet. So what can you do? Well, up until not too long ago, there were these guys. These are a Primus part. It's a Primus 4010 Primus metal silent cap, and it's made to go on this stove, this sort of basket burner, lipstick burner stove. This is a brand new one, old stock, and a company called Base Camp in the United Kingdom was selling these at a really reasonable price for a long time, and not enough people took advantage of it. I don't know where they found them, but they don't have those anymore. I've been waiting for them to come back with them for a while. They said they were temporarily out of stock, but now they're just out of stock. These things are great if you can ever get your hands on one, and they're the thing that works best on these, frankly. An older one is this guy right here. This is, oh God, what is it? I don't even know what it is. This is an older brass version. This is an antique. And this one actually has two parts instead of being one solid part crimped together here, like the 4010. This lid will come off like that, and you can see what's inside there. Alright? So they come with a lid and a two-part cap. Let's get one of those going here so that we don't have all this noise and I don't have to keep hurting my throat trying to talk to you over all this noise that we got going here. I have one of these 4010s I've already used. I'm going to heat that up on here and we'll come back in a second. Now I've got my 4010 going and it is quieter. Now it's not as quiet as some other options we're going to look at here shortly, but this is an original part, so you can feel comfortable using that. Again, you can see it's heating up the burner belt nicely, and that works good. So the 4010 cap, if you can ever find one, is a great choice. However, a couple different things about this. A long time ago, well, not that long time ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, I said, boy, I wonder how long these 4010 caps are going to last. I think Basecamp's going to run out of their one-time find of parts sooner or later. And so then what's going to happen? Nobody's going to have these anymore. And people are still going to be getting these stoves and not having any flame plates. And like I say, since then, people have come up with flame plates as aftermarket remade, bring back the past kind of thing parts, and that's an awesome thing. So if you just need a flame plate, go with those guys. But if we take a look at the 4010 here, that's what it looks like. I made my own version of the 4010. This is a 3D printed recreation of the 4010. I've never put this up for sale. This is my one and only example. This is my test model. And it works pretty good, but I've never put it up for sale because, of course, you could buy these for a pittance, relatively, to what you have to pay for one of these. Now, this is a very large and heavy cap because it has to be heavy to be done in 3D printing. 3D printing, when these are made, when they first come out of the printer, they're like wet sand. It's like working at the beach on a sandcastle. They're very fragile, so they have to be fairly thick in all their parts, and then they infuse them with bronze, and that's what makes them nice and solid and strong. So, I've never put them up for sale. We're going to take a look at how this one looks on the stove, and if you think this is something you might want to spend, it might be $50. Wow, that's a lot. But if you think you'd be interested in that, say something down in the comments, and maybe if I get enough interest in that, maybe I'll put them up for sale at my store. Something to think about. I also have a third possibility, but that's next. Let's take a look at what this one looks like. Okay, so I heated that one up and swapped them out. Here's my version of the 4010 cap, my 3D printed version. What it looks like. Actually, I'm not sure I got it centered here. Well, maybe I do. I probably need to prick my jet here. But anyway, here it is. That's what that looks like. That looks pretty good too, doesn't it? And for those of you who are worried, well, it's too high. It's actually not too high. It actually makes a nice, let's bring this down. It fits under there, under the pot, just fine. It clears it. Here, if I could get this a little lower yet. There you go. Yeah, you can see it clears it by, I don't know, half an inch maybe or so. But works just fine underneath there. So, not a problem. There you go. That's that. Now I have one other option, and that's this guy here. Just out of curiosity, I thought I'd try this also. This cap is my wide body cap, which it's a little stain there, but this is the wide body cap that I designed for the 725 from Phoenix or Phoebus 125, Phoenix 120, 725. That little, well, you can see it at my sales site, and it actually fits on here and works pretty well. Let's try that next. Okay, so here we have the BernieDawg wide body cap, which was designed for the Phoenix or Phoebus, I think it is. Phoebus, the Phoebus 725 little white gas stove that are really cute. This is the one that I designed for that, but look, it actually does a really nice job. Now, you can overpower these. You pump up your 100 too much and you'll get some flame lift off. But if you're reasonable like I'm being right here, it works pretty doggone good. And you can even get a nice simmer. We'll get some simmering going on here. Yeah, awesome simmer there, huh? So this is a cap that I currently do sell already. If you already have one for your Phoebus, then you can use it on your burner bell lipstick burners. It'll work for that too. Now, will it fit on all of them? I don't honestly haven't checked beyond just this one stove. So hopefully it will. Seems to fit okay. Feel a little more pressure up. Bring it back up. There we go. So, excuse me, sorry. I'm still recovering from my sickness. So there it is. And again, if you want to, let's take a look at the pot technique here. In fact, if we got, let's just do that. There you go. Now I can see the flame a little better. Nothing wrong with that. So there you have some options for this class of stove. For your various 100 stoves, whether it's Optimus, Primus, Radius, I'm thinking any of these will work. If you think you want the reproduction model of the 4010 that I have made, it costs more than this guy, but it is pretty accurate. It's not perfect, but it does look a lot like the original. Got the same hole pattern. And I will point out one other thing. My Optimus the BernieDawg cap that I have for the Optimus Polaris OptiFuel stove, that's this guy here. You know, I'm taking some design cues from the way, here I can handle that, from the way these look. There's definitely some design similarities, and that's where I don't make it all up. I just adapt a lot of this stuff. So, you know, yeah, so there's some considerations. So thanks to all my subscribers and viewers. I hope this helps you out with your 100 stoves.